Happy holidays! It's Christmas in July, and I'm making vintage Christmas ornament boxes. And if you're nice all the way through the video, I'll give you a little bonus project at the end. So happy holidays. It's July 25th, 5 months till Christmas, and I'm going to make some vintage Christmas ornament boxes. Now, I saw these box lids somewhere on the internet, and they're the actual photos of the old art from Shiny Bright Ornaments. It took me a while, but using Canva and my photo editor, I was able to clean them up and make them kind of bright and pretty again. I only had the top of the box, so I had to recreate the sides, and I just used similar fonts and I used their exact same colors. I've created board game boxes before, so this was a pretty similar idea, but it took me a while to get the proportions right to make the box lid slightly larger and make the dividers fit inside the box bottom. I was able to fit 3 boxes plus the bottoms and the dividers on one page. Now I'm going to put the image on my Instagram at Tiny Chateau Etoile, and hopefully you can save it from there and it will retain its proportions and its resolution. And if you're feeling generous like St. Nicholas, you'll drop a few coins in my stocking for being a good miniature designer all year long. Now, let me show you how to make these miniature Shiny Bright ornament boxes. So basically, you just cut everything out, and on the box top, you're going to cut out that center panel because that's where the plastic goes so you can see the ornaments inside. I use a hole punch to get in those corners and make them nice and round, and to better line it up, turn your hole punch upside down so you can see where the hole is being punched. Then I use my way too big scissors to cut the rest of the opening out. Next, I fold across all the lines, and basically it's 2 lines per side. I use a flat metal ruler to make the folds straight. To prep for gluing, I fold the 4 wing flaps into the box, and on the 2 short sides, I fold the outer flap out. That will keep them out of the way for the first gluing. Apply glue to the 2 wing pieces and the outer flap of the long side. Fold the outer flap over the side panel, sandwiching the 2 wings inside the fold. Then you repeat the process on the other long side. Then on the short sides, apply glue to the outer flap and then fold them inside the box as well. And then repeat those same steps for the top. It's done exactly the same way. And now it's time for the tray inserts. On one side of each piece, you'll see these skinny triangles. These are your cutting guidelines. You want to cut to the point of the triangle, but you can cut wider than the triangle itself. Cut out the rest of the triangles. Now you'll notice on the long ones, you're cutting the fold, and on the short ones, you're cutting the flaps. Once you've cut through all the triangles, fold all 5 pieces the opposite way so that the words are inside the fold. Here you can see the long ones have the fold cut and the short ones have the flaps cut. Now you're going to position the short pieces over the long pieces, fitting those slots together. Of course, do all 3 the same way. Now I will tell you, this can be very fiddly. If you want to put a drop of glue inside the slots as you fit them so they'll hold together, you will not be put on the naughty list for doing so. And now you can fit your dividers inside the bottom of the box. Now you'll need to find a piece of trash plastic. Any flat piece of thicker plastic will do. To be on the safe side, measure the inside of your lid, but it'll be about 1 1/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Run a small bead of glue around the inside of the box lid and place the plastic down. Don't put too much glue or it'll ooze out onto the open part of the window, and it's pretty easy to clean white glue off of the plastic, but save yourself the trouble. Now you can fill your box with your most Christmassy looking beads. 6 to 8 millimeter beads will fit best. It looks great now, but we can do something to add a little more realism. Let's add some tissue paper to protect our tiny Shiny Bright ornaments. For this part, I use a 3/4 inch square hole punch. If you don't have one, just cut little squares of tissue paper. 12 little squares of tissue paper to be exact. Cut a strip of tissue paper about 5 inches wide, then fold it in half lengthwise twice so that you end up with 4 layers of tissue paper. Then take a 3x5 note card and fold it in half lengthwise. Then slide the tissue paper inside the note card as if you were making a small magazine. Then, with the 3/4 inch square hole punch, punch 3 holes not too close to that folded edge. Now you've got 12 cleanly cut tissue paper squares, and you can get rid of those note card squares, or marbleize them and use them to tile the foyer of your mini mansion. Now, place each bead in a section of the box. You may find it helpful to pick up the bead with the tweezers, wet it with, say, a sponge or something, and then tap it onto a tissue paper square and pick the tissue up that way to put it in the box. Again, this can be a bit fiddly, so do your best. We're all counting on you. And now you have a beautiful vintage box of Christmas ornaments. But J-Star, I hear you say, I want my ornaments to look more realistic. Cut up some thin floral wire into 1-inch pieces. I got this floral wire at the Dollar Tree. Twist the 1-inch section around the end of a toothpick. Bend the 2 ends of the wire so that they're going in opposite directions straight out. Now, using some needle nose pliers, bend those tails down so that they're coming straight down from the little loop. Now you'll want to find a very small metallic bead. I use these seed beads, and simply slide it over the tails of the wire. Place a drop of super glue gel on the ends of the wire. Then slide on your ornament bead. And voila, you've got your tiny ornament that looks just like its real-life counterparts. Now you can arrange all of your tiny, shiny, bright ornaments in the divided box and do it on the diagonal so the loops don't interfere with the lid. You can make as many as you like, but you really only need 1 box full of real ornaments. That's what we call a hero prop. It's the prop that's closest to the audience or that the audience can see the best. The ones in the closed boxes, your audience will assume that you have spent hours and hours making each and every ornament in those boxes. Now you can stack and scatter these vintage Christmas ornament boxes all over the floor, getting ready for a tree trimming party in your miniature world. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. From the Tiny Chateau Etoile, this is J-Star saying Happy Christmas in July and keep making mini.